Dilisha, do you mind telling us your story today?
I used to think like banana is not good, not gonna eat it.
So how much did you weigh then?
33.
When you're 16 years old and you're just 33 kilos, should I call it anorexic?
It is anorexia.
Okay.
Anorexia nervosa. I just kept telling her like, I don't think you're my mother. When I was in the ICU or in the hospital, we got exchanged. Yoga became devotion after a point.
Why you're studying bioenergetics?
I hate people who say, drink a lot of water. Who are you to tell how much water should I drink? It's my body who's going to tell me anyway. If you feel like you have an issue with dairy, it's not the dairy. It's your body that needs to be fixed.
So what do you advise about relationships?
If you're like this bheja fry woman, I know what's wrong in your body.
So let's go back to the little Dilisha. You had faced trauma, a single parent, very early on in your life. And if you don't mind taking us to that story, because I know for a fact that a lot of children and a lot of teenagers will relate to your story. Not only relate, but also get inspired.
I'm still helping people through my journey, but I still intend to stick to my passion and do as much as I can.
Hi everyone, I'm Deepti and I love everything about health and fitness. And that's how I met the most beautiful guest that we have on our show
Thank
today.
you.
Dilisha, true to her name. We had phenomenal coffee conversations. And here she is today to share her stories and experiences with all of us. So, Dilisha, do you mind telling us your story today?
I do not mind.
So I will let you introduce yourself because I know that you're doing a lot of stuff at your age. I had absolutely no clue what I was doing in life. So I think that you're very inspiring for a lot of people in your generation. And I would totally love to listen to all the things that you're doing.
I'm a clinical nutritionist and I've started this journey of being a nutritionist with my own personal experience. And it's been difficult, of course. That's what I'm here to talk about. And I feel like it's more of a passion, nutrition to me, more than anything else. And besides that, I'm also a yoga teacher and yoga has been very close to my heart. I wish to really grow in this field. I don't know if my purpose is really to help people. I haven't really thought about that. I'm still helping people through my journey, but I still intend to stick to my passion and do as much as I can.
That's awesome.
And just be and become whoever I can be.
Yeah, and I feel you're in your best feminine energy. I always get that amazing vibe from you. And that's why I wanted to also dress appropriately,
Wow.
for the person who's on the show. How do you always carry this feminine aura? What does it actually mean to you, being, like you just told me?
I feel like the feminine energy is like water. You have to keep flowing. And that only comes when you know and you have the trust that somewhere you're taken care of. And the taken care of feeling comes from safety within, and that safety has to be developed. It's like a muscle that you have to keep training. So it doesn't just come easy. So also you have to really take care of yourself.
Yes.
Self-love and self-care is very important. Mothering yourself, fathering yourself.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So at this point in life, let's talk about the present Dilisha. What is your current energy? How are you feeling in general every day in this phase of your life? And what does that mean to you?
I feel amazing.
Okay.
I feel so connected, amazing, connected to myself more than anything else, and that's what really matters. My perception has changed.
Okay.
Yeah. The way I see things and the way I really behave, my attitude towards things is changing. Yeah. And I feel like the change always starts from here,
Yes.
Yeah. Now, because I'm open to growth,
Yes.
I'm open to change. The moment I really stick to the thought that no, I can't or I don't want to, I want to change that, alter it, and then I'm gonna do it anyway. You know,
That's
that
nice.
feeling.
Yes.
So so far it's amazing. A lot of surprises. Surprise.
I
Surprise.
know. Yeah, us
And-
meeting is also a surprise.
Once I listened and my life changed. So here I am continuing to listen to my intuition more and more.
I can't
And-
wait to talk about the once you listened part.
Okay.
So yeah, I understand that you grow from that discomfort. I have the same
course.
feeling every time I challenge myself and I feel extremely uncomfortable, but I know that there's a change and an outcome coming beyond that state. I go at it every day and I feel like that aggression lets you evolve. Like, otherwise there's no bloom.
Absolutely. We are all evolving
I know.
constantly.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That
So let's go back to the little Dilisha now. I know that you had faced trauma, a single parent, very early on in your life. And if you don't mind taking us to that story, because I know for a fact that a lot of children and a lot of teenagers will relate to your story. Not only relate, but also get inspired, from it.
I think since I was a child, I was super unconscious, and I grew up with a lot of like unconscious behaviors. Of course, like, what you see around is who you really become. Like what you ingrain in your subconscious is how you put yourself out in the world. So I did not ever think that I use my brains. I was just like constantly following what was seen around, mostly like my environment really played a huge role. I grew up with my grandparents and then I, lived with my mother. But that was a beautiful experience for me, like living with my grandparents. They really took like good care of me.
This was
And-
when? How old were you when you started living with your grandparents?
Since I was little, maybe like 5-6 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, until my 10th standard.
Okay.
So yeah, by then, like almost like my majority of the hardwiring in the way I perceive the world was almost done,
Yes.
Yeah, and then I moved with my mother. I was always obese as a kid. This is what I want to really mention, that when I say unconscious, of course, like I was overindulging, overdoing everything. And maybe deep down, I was seeking validation.
Yes. Yes.
I think that's like human nature.
stems
Like
from
you stem,
wanting
yes.
validation. Yes.
So it's like constantly stemming. The validation was always there when I wanted to seek validation from my parents, my relatives, friends. I wanted to do like beyond. It's like being the nice girl, wherein you want to do everything more than you actually can, so that you can achieve that validation, not from the self, but from my surrounding.
Hmm.
Then I started living with my mom, and things really changed.
Okay.
My mom comes from a very like polarized, her way of looking at the world is totally different. I understand now that from her standpoint, she was also like the mother and the father both, wherein she was also trying to protect me and nurture me, but I never really understood that
Yes.
feeling of
Because
what
you
she
were
was
too
trying to
little
give
to
me.
understand that.
Yeah, of course, I was too little, but I think it gave me a lot of like aggression. And I went to the extreme sides of, like just sabotaging the relationship with her and also with myself.
Mhm.
And that's when I realized that I stopped eating food, my environment.
Was your
Not very
response and your way
encouraged.
of reacting to your mom and her independent self, not eating phase of your life?
Oh, that was terrible. I just kept telling her, like, I don't think you're my mother. Maybe like when I was in the ICU or in the hospital, we got exchanged. I was totally wrecked. Yeah, my mind was so haywire. Like I didn't know how to.
How old were you then?
situations. 16.
Okay. This was
Yeah, I was
in
16.
the exact time and phase where all your hormones were all over the place.
Absolutely. And the time where my, like the estrogen kicks in at that point in time. Estrogen is like the
Yes,
child, like
yes.
the growth hormone, which
Yes.
starts like developing within your body and within your cells. And that time I was just trying to suppress it
Mhm.
and
Suppress it by not eating food.
at all.
Okay, at all. You
No,
you
not
would
at
go
all.
without food.
No, not
at-
even banana. I used to think like banana is not good, fattening. Not gonna eat it.
Okay.
Too much fat. No, I'm not gonna eat.
So how much did you weigh then?
33.
You weighed 33 kilos?
Yes.
Seriously?
33 after.
When you were 16?
So initially, I started losing weight the healthy way. I was doing a lot of Zumba. because I was always a dancer since I was a child. I did my Bharatanatyam and I was always into dancing. So I think Zumba is something that came naturally to me. I was like, wow, in 6 months, I lost 5 kilos, but I was not satisfied. I wanted to lose more and more and more, And that phase, I don't know what kicked within my mind, but I looked fine. But then I got into like this extreme phase of I want to be more and more, like more and more skinny.
For who?
For whom? Again, seeking validation.
From who?
To be very honest, it was within me.
Okay.
I wanted to seek validation from my own self that it's okay. Nobody was giving me that shit. But I felt like I was not accepted. I was never enough. This is what my feeling was then, like, I'm just not enough. No matter who I am, what I be, I'm just not enough.
So did you start having your period by then, your menstrual cycle when you were 16?
After 6 months of losing weight, I starved for 6 more months. And then I see that I don't have period. My mindset, I'm just like all over the place. I wanted to run away from my house and live in an orphan house. I packed my bags, I remember. My mom locks the door. She locks the door and she's like, no, you're not going. And the next day she books an appointment with a psychiatrist. I remember going to a psychiatrist. I'm like, what bullshit is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So you were 33 kilos at 16 years old and you had very bad relationship with food. For a year, you never got your periods.
No.
You were forced to see a psychiatrist.
Forced to see a psychiatrist, forced to see a gynecologist, forced to just visit doctors every few months.
So did all of this equate to having bad relationships also?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did you attract such kind of guys into your life?
Guys, no. Like, what guys? I'm so wrecked in my own mind that I didn't get into a relationship until I finished my graduation.
Okay.
Because it was too much of a self-fight. It's like just fighting for what? Like your health.
So how would you feel when you went to college? Like, just take me to one episode of where you would go and sit in the class. You were this skin and bones I'm sure when you're 16 years old and you're just 33 kilos, you would look like really, should I call it anorexic?
It is anorexia.
Okay.
Anorexia nervosa.
Okay. And did the doctors tell you it was anorexia?
No.
Okay.
The doctors didn't tell me. Yeah, the doctors
but you figured
prescribing.
This.
Yeah, when I was really trying to do my own research, the time when I wanted to get out of it, that was in my second year and it was a holiday. I used to go to school on a holiday because I didn't want to eat. The reason being, I want to stay away from food. Because if I'm home, my mom's like, this is your food. I'm watching you eat now. I went to college on a Sunday, I remember, and just sitting there doing nothing. It's shut, but of course, like the doors were open. You can just like sit on the veranda and just chill. And I'm just chilling there because I don't want to eat.
Oh my God.
My mom finds like under this roti, rice, curry packs tagged in plastic. Everywhere food, hidden food, because I never ate. I just starved. Telling everybody that, yeah, I'm eating.
My God.
Yeah, it was terrible. I didn't go to college for 6 months after that. On my birthday, I'm just sitting in one room, put my phone off, switched off. I don't want to answer anybody's calls. So I had like a terrible relationship with myself first.
Okay.
I couldn't have a good relationship with others around me because I was like terribly fighting with my own self, And of course, comes down to health, comes everything now. I realize that comes down to your stimulus with the external environment.
How did you realize this was anorexia?
So I went to a friend's birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
And she's one of my bestest friends, even now. We sat in college, first bench for 3 years. So I go with her and she's like, Dilisha, please come. I said, no, I don't want to go. She said, please come. So I go and there was like a bag of chips. And she said, why don't you eat one? I don't know. Why did I wanted to I just wanted to eat. But I thought if I eat one piece, I'm going to put on weight.
Oh my God.
But I ate. Then I realized nothing happened to me. I'm all fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it actually began. Yeah, that's when, then I look at myself in the mirror and I start crying like, what the hell have I done to myself? Yeah, that was a changing point. Prior to that, I was hospitalized for 1 month already.
And you were on IVs? Did the doctors put you on?
A lot. Like I was constipated for like 10 days or something. Of course, because there's like no food in my system. Nothing.
I like how you're smiling and laughing about it now.
Oh, really? Yeah. of course, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here talking to you about this.
So then you started researching on everything for your own self. And from our conversations, I know that you grow your own food and make and eat your own food.
Yes,
and are
I
very
love cooking.
and you're very particular about how your hormones are working now, how your vitals are. Can
Yeah,
you
I
tell us more
mean,
about why you're studying bioenergetics? What does it mean? And why is it important?
I feel like with especially experimenting, I've just rolled through hills of change. So it's been like waves, you know.
Yeah.
And I now know what works and what doesn't work. For me, also for others. Because now it's like you just know your body enough. You put yourself into different situations, constipated, hormonal imbalance, like everything. I'm like the guinea pig for my own self in that way, or at least I was, you know. And back then, since there was not enough information out there, I was just Google everything. Wow, Google is like the new encyclopedia.
Yes.
So you just Google every single symptom, every single thing that you find, and you try, and you realize it doesn't work.
So that's when you went and started educating yourself a little more. You started scientifically delving deep into
Absolutely.
this.
Like to an extent, my life's purpose is to get my period back. And after that, my life's purpose is to correct my gut health. That's it. I want nothing. Get my gut health moving faster.
Yes.
You know, it's insane when I really like go back to those times and think about how do I get my period back? Or at least striving for it.
I think every girl at your age should think only about that.
Couple of years ago, I was just like intermittent fasting, you know, during lockdown, right after. I wanted to stay in like a specific shape, and I was in that shape, but it came at a cost. It came at a cost of me not eating enough, not having like a regulated mindset, not like, having a lot of like cortisol and this adrenaline, like, yes, like I can't sleep for like 2 days, 3 days, and I can just do anything. You know, like that energy you can relate to when it comes from like high amounts of cortisol.
I also feel that cortisol is one of the saddest outcomes of intermittent fasting. And even in my experience,
High
I
cortisol.
saw at least 22 women clients who did intermittent fasting and did not get their periods after that for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we're not small men. Of course. We're not. Yeah, we have these cycles of life growth. We have these phases wherein we fall, we shed, we die, and we come back again. Yeah, that's the beauty of at least like being a woman.
Yeah.
And nourishment, I feel like, is the utmost priority. And I've learned this through bioenergetics, because bioenergetics itself means that like the energy of the biology.
Okay.
When you really talk in terms of energy, what's energy? Every single cell of your body, like you are not, like now I see you as an individual entity. But if I have to get down to science, you're made of 30 trillion cells. Each cell is intelligent on its own.
Yes.
And when 10 cells unite, they become even powerful. And you're like 30 trillion cells.
Yes.
You know, then who are you? Like you carry that thing, you're more powerful than you can ever think of.
It's the best machine we are living in.
Exactly. It's
and none of those cells are competing or coinciding with each other.
Exactly.
They're all doing their work very
now,
beautifully.
For them to do their work, you need to make sure that they're getting enough of what they need. They're selfish on their own. And for that, get down to physiology. What is physiology? The hardware of your body. What's the hardware? There's a science to that hardware. Like now, this is a sofa. It's made of something. I cannot change the fact that it's made of something.
Yes.
You know, I cannot change that there must be like some cotton or some, you know, sponge inside it. That fact cannot be changed. It is what it is. Yes. So that's physiology.
Yes.
You know, and that's like your cellular functioning of the intelligence that your cells carry. And they have energy that they produce on themselves. So that energy is requires nourishment and maintenance.
Yes.
Doesn't run on thin air. You know?
And don't you feel like even science tells us that the energy that you are vibrating at, that's why, you know, the whole system equal to directly proportional to energy also.
Absolutely. I feel like you have to put in the spirit back into place when you're trying to get better with your physical and your mental health. It's so important. You have to put the spirit back in place. We're made of something. We evolve like the nature evolves. We used to produce maybe 100 years ago 2 ATP per molecule. Now it's thousands and trillions. Mitochondria.
Yes.
How did mitochondria come into existence? It's with the cellular capacity that we have. And when your cells don't function well, your entire system is off. So it's holistic.
Yeah. And that's why the cancer, like all over the place, because of all the toxins that we're inhaling and which is the chemicals which are around us, which we will come to very soon. I know that you're a part of largest NGO in the world, the UN.
Yes.
So what do you do? How and where do you go once every 2 months? What's the kind of seva that you do?
It's simple. We're just committed to helping the world as an organization. So we do our best to help people, especially like the underdeveloped countries. Like right now we're focused on Laos.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right above Cambodia. And they need more investments from us. So we're just investing in different projects. And last year we were focused on building orphan houses in Bulgaria.
That's so nice. Like, can I tell your age? Is it okay?
It's a shame.
No, but I can tell you guys, she's in her 20s and
Oh my
doing all of this when you're just in your 20s.
Really?
Seriously.
I feel like I do nothing throughout the day. Like, yeah,
Please.
like I'm just sitting and sipping my coffee for 1 hour and looking at the trees for 1 hour. And I'm like,
That
what
is
am I
doing something, do you
here?
realize? That is doing a lot.
Yeah, doing nothing is
That's
definitely doing something.
Inhaling and ingesting all of the goodness through the coffee and all those old trees around.
Yeah, it's very important. That's actually one of the secrets of having your feminine energy in check. When you really slow down, take steps back, take like few steps
When
back,
you're just being.
and to even realize that power within you, to have the territorial safety. You know, like
Which a lot of women don't have these days. Safety and security is something that women don't have easily these days. That's why they step into their masculine energy. And I can tell you that I've been there. I've been there for a while and it's just not been easy. It's not easy on you when you have to step up and do both because of the circumstances or whatever. You cannot help it, right? And then you realize, oh my God, all my hormones are all over the place.
wow, it's so connected.
I had like
It
these
is
thyroid
so
issues and
connected.
whatnot. And I'm
Wow.
like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It just makes so much
isn't it so
sense.
connected?
It is. Every single thing is like the kind of relationships that you get into is so related. The kind of crimes you commit. If you're like this bheja fry woman, I know what's wrong in your body. Really?
Okay, I like this Beja fry woman.
Seriously. I've seen like women, I'm like, lady, calm down. You know?
Calm down.
The calm down hormone is what you need.
Yeah. So what do you think progesterone does? Progesterone plays a role in every woman's body.
Absolutely. I'm big
Why
on
is it important
progesterone.
to have your progesterone in check and get it tested? And why does that calm a woman down?
We have like these major 3 hormones, which are like testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. Testosterone is the father,
Yes.
and estrogen is the child. And who's the mother?
The progesterone is the mother.
So that's how the dynamics really work. And there's not one without the other. And like the child needs help from both the parents, right? There's not one without the other. We live in a polarized world. And it's the same that goes with our hormones as well.
Yeah.
Like the sun's nothing without the moon's nothing without the sun. It's the same thing. So
Yeah, that's so beautifully put.
progesterone is extremely important because it is the mother hormone. Yeah. The mother is like the nature. The more you feel connected to nature and the more you're in your calm zone is when you develop that safety within. In a yogic science, you say, chitta vritti nirodha. What does it mean? You know, in stillness is, you find all the answers in stillness.
Yes.
Yeah. It's important for like both men and women. But for women, it's the key because you're here to do something. You have these gifts. Your sex organs are gifts to the world. Stick to giving that. Don't do anything else. Like just stick to having your gifts, knowing that you have them and using them in the right way
Yeah,
to multiply.
that makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of women don't realize that and they just like go haywire. They want to do everything in competition with a man. So a man's territory, him able to have his territory in the physical world and being able to protect and provide.
Yes.
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 And that's what rises his testosterone levels at the very physiological level from a behavioral standpoint.
Yes, that's true.
Now, the moment he has territorial conflict, wherein he's like, for example, loses father, like mother has to take care of the mother, or like loses a woman in his life, whatever, it takes a toll on his health because he's lost the territory. What is he doing this for?
Yeah.
What is he doing this for at the end? To
That-
provide and
yeah.
protect at the very base level. His physiology is meant to do that. And when he doesn't do that, he loses testosterone. For a female, her sexuality is her territory where she can really feel safe. Now, for example, I get into a relationship with a man who I give my territory to. I get intimate with him, and suddenly, if I don't feel safe with him anymore, I lose my territory. My left brain hemisphere is blocked, and I'm like, I want to do everything what you can do.
Yeah.
You know?
I know, yeah.
You take over that.
You get to that space.
You get to that space, and women who have lost their territorial conflict have menstrual pain.
Oh.
Women who are experiencing the territorial conflict have difficulties in menstruation. Yeah. So that's the key. That's how you know that she's lost her territory to a man who couldn't keep her safe. And it's a cycle, destructive cycle, which disrupts. I mean, it's heartbreaking, to be very honest, today's world.
So have you attracted good men in your life?
Yes, touch wood. No wood. But yeah, I attracted what I attracted then, basis on how I mirrored myself. Like relationships, you're required to be emotionally, physically, and mentally open, naked.
I know, yeah.
Literally.
The person you want to attract, you should become. You should become that person that you want to attract.
So
you're just
then,
not going to
if I
get
was
someone
like,
you want.
probably then when I was just haywired, like when I was just upside down, I attracted such men in my life. So I wouldn't ever blame my partner because it's me. It's my reflection. Relationships are your own reflection. So now that I've like grown out of that phase, I realized that it was me. It was never to do with anybody around. It's just you versus you then. You heal your layers, uncover them, is then who you authentically show yourself to be as.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you just don't care who you attract, who you don't attract. Like, this is who I am now. What can you do?
Yeah. This is the real me.
This is
to
the
get
real
this
me.
version of me.
Absolutely. But everything, in my opinion, just comes down to your health, how you take care of yourself. Your hormones play a huge role, and what you absorb.
So what do you advise other women of your age and also teenagers and women of this generation about relationships?
One thing that I would like to really advise women of any age is to really find comfort and safety in their own selves. I know that might be really difficult as I speak right now, but it's like choosing the things that really make you feel very joyous, like happy.
Yes.
Happiness is the key to feeling safe. Like right now, I'm sitting with you, I feel safe.
Yes.
It could be a man or a woman, right company. And the way you really choose your words when you talk. Like, for example, I believe words are spells. Yeah. So like, shh, don't say something, don't say something that you don't mean. Words are definitely spells. So having the right kind of mentorship around you is very important. And I think we really lack that. I see this person smoking and I want to like try, and I want to be there like smoking. And I think it's really cool. Again, comes down to validation.
Yes.
To an extent. And also progesterone as a hormone is what you really need to keep yourself really calm and just think about what am I even doing in life. That requires a certain level of stillness. And that stillness comes from eating every 3 hours starch. Eating good amount of food every 3 hours, not like starving yourself and you think you're looking great and you look fine. I've seen women these days like just doing. You're on the doing,
Yeah. More than the being, it's like you're in the doing.
Yeah. Like if you really want to be something or attract something bigger than yourself, you have to have that trust first and stick to it.
You please take us through your journey, the hospital, because other than just anorexia, which is what you regarded as the physical problem, how did you come over them, and what was your family expecting? What did the doctors tell you? And how did you push yourself out of it? That is so important today for a lot of girls your age. So how did you come out of that?
When I was hospitalized, I remember my mom, because my mom was not close, my mom was appointing other people, like other family members, please take her and go because she's not going to be ready to listen to me. She's hating me. So let like my uncle, my aunts go along with her, to take her to a gynecologist.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the gynecologist showing me idli, and she's asking me like, "Are you scared of looking at idli?" And I start crying,
What?
tears in my eyes the moment I look at idli.
What?
And I'm like, "But I don't want to ever go to the."
You saw idli and cried.
Yeah, and
That was your
because I was
relationship with the
food. It was pathetic. And that's one of the reasons, because I was starving. Of course, I didn't have energy. And I was hospitalized for the same fact that, of course, I don't have energy. I haven't eaten since a year. And I have to be on the hospital bed with the IVs and everything. And I still think I need to lose some more weight.
What?
Absolutely, that was my mindset, which means I was absolutely like shut, shut in my own zone. I had no clarity about what was happening around me. I definitely had a hate relationship with myself and with everybody around. I mean, even if the doctor said that, you're going to die, the doctor told me, you're going to die if you don't eat within a month. I said, I'm okay dying and I don't want to eat. So it was, of course, terrible.
How did your family take this? How was your relationship then with your mother?
I remember like the other day, me talking to her, like, do you even remember that I was anorexic? I asked my mother. She says, yeah. And she says, Dilisha, you were a difficult child.
Yeah. I mean, when you say that, I can reconnect it back to how I feel with my son.
She's like, I could have, if I've dealt with you, which means I know I can deal with anybody.
No, but then it is so painful to see your child going through pain.
Something like that. And
crazy. It's like your heart is outside your body.
And hating you. Yeah, and hating you. And when you dedicate your life to the child and the child gives this back in return, it's terrifying. It's very, very heartbreaking. And I felt really bad for putting every single person in my life, in my family, who took care of me as much as possible. But I didn't feel like what they were giving, I couldn't reciprocate the way I wanted it to be, Probably
so what was the reason? Was it because they were controlling with you? You felt like they're controlling your life?
I feel like it's the traumas that they have experienced has brought them to the behavior. Their behavior was based on what they had experienced in life.
So for you to recognize this fact now, when did you forgive them? And why is it important to forgive our parents?
It's so important. First of all, again, going back to you need enough thyroid. If you have enough thyroid, you will slow down and talk to yourself.
Why is it that you don't have this hormone playing its role right at that time?
I would say like this ubiquitously used word called generational trauma. I feel like the whole collective wants to know generational trauma. We've been hearing this a lot, right? Of late.
Yes.
I'm glad like somebody named that whole thing as like generational
trauma and how you break it if you want your karma to be proper in this generation.
Yeah. So when I really go down, like step back, my grandmother had 2 losses. Lost her child, lost her husband from my mom's side. My father's side, of course, my grandmother from the father's side lost his son, my father. And loss of a child breaks you. You feel like every single thing around you want to control it, then you want to like really control, because that's your behavior. That's a trauma imprint which has been there. And then you put that out in your offspring as well, unless and until you really take time to figure out and heal. Heal meaning know that you can change and write your own story. Simple. That's healing.
Yes.
Healing means I wash off the layers of this is how it's supposed to be, to knowing that I can write this story in my own way, which means you go like the different route.
I will not let that
anti-society.
trauma define
Of course,
me.
and I think it's a lot to do with society, community. Because when you're a part of the community, when you have a loss, you rely on people. You become dependent. You don't trust yourself enough. You don't trust the higher self of you because that loss makes you pathetic, like
It
feel
damages
like
you.
it damages you. Of
The
course,
people I've seen who lost their loved ones during COVID, it completely damages you, puts you in a state of depression. And you should tell me what kind of diseases or issues those people have.
let me take like the example of my own grandmother. She's still an inspiration to me. I've grown up with her, but those times, she was 36 when she lost her husband and the child around the same time. After 1 month, it was so traumatic to her that she lost her period forever. 36.
Oh,
Menopause.
my
And since
God.
then, she's
During
been
those
taking
times.
she's been taking sleeping pills since then.
God.
Yeah. Now when I really put myself into their shoes, I'm sure it's not easy taking care of 5 children, 5 more children who are just growing. They're young. They're growing up. And my grandmother had her first child after 7 years of marriage. She couldn't get pregnant. And I think after like a lot of, I don't know, back then there were like too many rituals that they had to perform.
Okay.
So then she got pregnant. So now it's really important for me to go back and rethink. And now I don't blame them anymore. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
It was never their fault. When I put myself into their shoes, their environment, their experience of life has made them to think a way that they think right now. Same thing with my mother. My mother was the eldest in the family. Yeah, she's the eldest. Lost father. After she got married, she wanted to study medicine. And then my great grandfather says, don't continue studying medicine, but get married. She listened and she's like, okay, fine, I'm going to get married. Lost husband. After I was born. So, like that, I know where you're coming from now,
What you face.
and I want to forgive you for everything. Yeah. But all I know is my life is in my control.
Yeah.
All that I have in control is me and myself only. Only.
Yeah, I went through this difficult time when I was not in touch with my parents. I had to get out of this comfort zone to be something. And there was this time where almost for 2 years, I had absolutely no connection. And every single complaint that I had in the world was against them. And I know how difficult it is to go through that phase where, you're in that situation where you're not understanding the people in your life, where you're not letting go and forgiving them. But then the moment I just realized that I chose them, and how you cannot choose your parents and how your parents cannot choose children. You cannot choose anybody except your partner.
Yes.
It was just that moment that I just let go. I'm like, okay, I'm just forgiving every single thing that happened to me because of them. They did what they did because they thought that was right for them during that time. That's
Exactly.
all. That's all they knew.
That's all
That's
they
all they
knew.
grew up with.
Yeah.
That was their perspective about life.
Absolutely true. So, yeah, the only thing that you can choose is your partner. Rest, everything is given to you. Know that it's given to you for a reason, for you to really deal with them and not run away from it. That's why I feel like for everything, you need to put the spirit back into equation.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
But that is still not easy, by the way. So, how did you motivate yourself? How did you get this inspired from that personality? How did you change it? How did you break it?
So during my graduation, when I started recovering, like the chips phase to like, okay, when I see myself, I start crying and then I'm like, I need to do something. I fixated, prioritized myself that I'm going to wake up, eat every 2 hours, no matter what. Because I had to get back, I had to pull myself back up. Like I wake up in the morning, I eat at 5, 7, 9, 11, 1, 3, 6. I eat an ice cream every day. I'm eating like healthy more and more and more. I'm eating more because I need to put that weight back. And it was not easy. I say gaining weight isn't easy. Especially from 33, like I had to gain layers. 33 is like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I could see my like ribs visible, like just bones. Just bones.
I can imagine. 33
Yeah.
is no muscle at all.
What? No muscle? No, like 1-2 layers of skin probably. Yeah, I could see like my skeleton.
Okay, tell me, was that the time where your friends were probably like stepping out, partying, having not a great routine, but you
They
had
were.
to sort out your
There
routine.
were my college life. Everybody was partying, going out, doing their thing, but I was just stuck to eating on time, no matter what people thought of me.
That needs
And I was
strength.
exercising. It had to have strength. People thought I was crazy. I'm so strange. Like, she's so weird. I used to oil my hair. I don't care about what I'm wearing, but all I care about is I'm cooking my own meals. I knew that I had to eat if I had to get back my health. That's all I knew. Of course, it's very like layman language. Are patli aur ye khana nahi kha rahi hai? Like that's just, it's very like you can really relate to it. You
Yes.
eat, you're going to put on weight. That's like simple. Everybody knows it. Everybody can relate to it. Yeah. If you want to lose weight, don't eat.
Yeah.
Ideally, like on a very superficial ways to like, like especially for your physique, that's how people use their terms. Like, I want to lose weight. I want to gain weight.
Yes.
Very easily without even like knowing what your body is. Yeah, so I stuck to it for almost like 2 years. I didn't party. My friends, family, everybody came home, but they were really inspired looking at me that I was sleeping at 9 no matter what. I did that until I got my health back.
So you actually maintained a good circadian rhythm.
Circadian rhythm plus a discipline. I would say repeating the same thing every day.
That is so important.
So I did what I could. I was clear on that and I didn't step away from it.
So did yoga help you, and when did you realize?
Yoga, I started, it's been like 5 years now that I started doing. I started doing vinyasa for mobility.
Okay.
And my mom's, she got into yoga. She teaches yoga now. So she told me, why don't you do yoga? And in between, I was also in this phase where I'm like, damn, life is amazing. And then I'm like, on the spree of going partying, doing every possible thing in the world that I wanted to do.
You did that. Good.
I did that. Yeah, I did that for a while and I wouldn't regret.
Yeah, you had to do it. Seen it all, done it all phase.
At a stretch. It's like there's no stopping. Like let me live my life to the full. Yeah. Yeah. So coming back to
yoga.
So yoga, I started with vinyasa and I was just doing it every day because I need mobility in my body and I was enjoying doing it. Even though I was not consciously doing it because I didn't learn, or I was not practicing with a teacher. I was just putting YouTube video and doing it every day.
Okay.
Just for like a form of exercise.
Yes.
Yeah, because then I was also pretty fit. I was also stuck by my regime. Like I want to do my workouts. I want to take care of myself. Because after going through so much, all you really want to do is take care of yourself. Yeah.
Of course.
And I was just doing it without any intention of just getting something out of it. Because I'm like, this is giving me happiness.
Yes.
And for me, the phase of like yoga became devotion after a point. Yeah. Like now, for me, it's more like because I'm breathing, I'm so much in my presence. I feel like this is helping me connect to the source. Ideally, yeah,
That's
like
true.
you thank your
happens to
body
me
for like
too.
every single thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're so much in the presence, you can't let go. Yeah, you feel every single inch of your body breathing.
You're very conscious. Yeah.
Now, what I learn on my mat is what I practice in life. When I know my breath is like anxious, I know something in my life is also needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
If I'm super calm and like relaxed, I know everything in my life is also really calm. So that's my connection with yoga now. But it started off with like just a very layman term. Okay, like let's do yoga. Maybe like to add on to my fitness activity, I want to just like take it one day. To be very honest, it started with meditation. It began with it. Because I was, to an extent, I feel like I became ADHD.
Okay.
I was like into that phase because I was intermittent fasting. I want to like party. I want to be out there. I don't want to eat enough, but I just want to like on the go all the time. Yeah. So I felt that I was on this realm of being on an ADHD mode.
And that is something that repeat also connects.
Oh,
Inspiration,
my God.
repeat.
Oh, Ray's,
Yeah.
I feel like he's just come to my life. Now when I really think about Raymond Pete, I have started following his work since past 2 years now, along with what I was studying. The more and more I read about him, the more I feel like he's just very mystical. when it comes to like the science perspective. As Ray says, your thyroid, progesterone, and having regulated cortisol elevates your consciousness as a person. And that's like bioenergetics.
Yes.
Ray is one of the masters in bioenergetics. He's worked for 40 years. He spent 40 years of his lifetime to the research on women's health, progesterone, thyroid, PUFAs, coconut oil.
Yeah.
You know,
A lot of research on it.
A lot of research on it.
I love how Ray Pete puts everything into perspective with a lot of research and a lot of case studies. That is the best part about him. That you don't miss out on reading anything because everything is detailed in a way where it's after conducting the experiments in the right way. And then I'm telling you, do this, it will work for you, you know. And I like the fact that you've been like helping me also understand that when you have high cortisol, it also directly impacts your stress levels and hence your feelings and hence the way you respond on a daily basis to situations that happen to you, and also plays with your hormonal health, especially for women, right?
Right. Ray's clearly pointed out energy begets structure. You can only maintain an order in a system when it has the right energy flowing, not randomness. Like the laws of thermodynamics really apply to bioenergetics when I have to talk about bioenergetics. Now, the laws of like thermodynamics are also related to universe.
Yes.
It's universal law.
Yeah.
You do random things, you're not going to get a structure.
Correct.
You're not going to get orderly results. So for an order, you need energy. And for structure, to be able to build, you need order and energy both. You cannot run on an entropy. Like people on ADHD are on entropy. People on low energy, it's called as LEA, low energy availability state, are not able to achieve their consciousness. Which means if you are not spiritual, what is spiritual?
Just being connected to the spirit inside you, that's all.
Yeah, just
Being conscious.
Just knowing that there is something higher than you.
Yes.
At least in my perspective, that's what I think of being spiritual is, you know, and not being, it's consciousness. Your cells are conscious. So you are a conscious being who's incarnated into a human form. Now, Ray's work is so connected to like the spiritual aspect. He says if you have enough energy in your body is when you can think beyond your normal perspectives. And the food to every single thing that you do in your life is so interconnected. Every single thing.
I know.
He says,
and it takes so much for people to understand that they have to figure out their food.
Yeah, he says perceive, think, and act.
And when you talk about energy, I can only think about coffee, sugar, and a lot of other things.
Right.
So I want to really ask you, how important is sugar to a person and especially to a woman in her luteal phase? Because I have these sugar cravings in my luteal phase and I completely never say no to it. I don't know, for some reason, I do indulge in sugar once in a while and I'm fine with it. I don't completely avoid it. And what is the role? And I keep also like tracking my hormones and it's fine. Like my blood glucose is fine before and after meals. So I don't understand this whole theory of how people perceive sugar as this enemy. Oh, it should be outside the door. It's the villain in my body. Why?
How am I able to, if you have to go pick yourself up from here, grab that bottle and bring it here? You need energy, right?
Yes.
Now, if I'm like, so lazy, I cannot go and pick it up. What does that mean? Low energy. I'll be like, drink some sugar water, please. Get some energy on.
Yeah. That's the easiest thing they used to say back then.
Easiest thing. So why do you think sugar is bad? It's not the sugar, it's your cells. It's never the food which is the problem. You need to figure out deeper than that why your body and your cells are not able to utilize sugar. Your brain runs on glucose.
Yes.
Right? Now, there are two ways of looking at it. One way is you can choose the ideal ways of fueling yourself with simple sugar, which means the right kind of starch, simple starch, white sugar, fruits, and white rice.
Carbs, yeah.
You know, like simple carbs.
Simple carbs.
Which will provide you with instant energy without disrupting your gut lining.
Yes.
That way, you produce ATP instantly. That's one route. Now, I know people around, like, you want to go on keto, you want to go low carb. You think, I am on no sugar. you are burning fat. But burning fat, now every single thing when you go against physiology comes at a cost. You need to know that. Like,
Yeah.
there's two ways. Now, the cost of that being every single chemical reaction, you have ROS, reactive oxygen species. So, ROS is an enzyme which is produced and it builds up nitric oxide in the body. So, that disrupts your natural functionality. Like the way your physiology is supposed to function, you teach your cells. Your
Yes.
cells are super intelligent. They learn this way of dealing with things.
Correct.
That's when your body is no more able to utilize sugar.
Yes.
And then you become diabetic and you become metabolically inflexible.
And when you break keto and start eating carbs and sugar,
It's not going to be accepted by your body ASAP. You're going to probably put on more weight, water weight, because your cells were starving of water. Ideally, your cells will be plumped when they get enough of the recognized food that they feel it is required for nourishment.
yes,
Like water, salt, sugar, minerals.
correct.
Ideally, when you go against that,
It's needed for every cell in your body.
but you need to also teach your body to do the right kind of things at right timing. Women are more metabolically flexible, which means you can quickly shift from using fat to sugar. But men are metabolically inflexible. Yes. So they might really take some time to adapt to any kind of metabolic changes that you might imprint to your cell or teach your cells. Yeah. So that's where bioenergetics race work comes into picture. And I've been following Ray's work since a while, and I must say he's incredible. He talks a lot about thyroid health, and in his perspective, thyroid, not just his perspective, like in reality, the truth is that your thyroid is the master gland.
Yes.
Your thyroid really regulates all the functionality of your body. And I mean, if you're a woman and if you're constantly like working out, you want to work out being hypothyroid, it's like putting a house on, light your house on fire to feel warm. Yeah. Oh, I'm feeling so cold. Let me like light fire in my house to feel warm. That's how my woman who's hypothyroid is. Yeah. So it's really important for women to really have enough thyroid. And to have enough thyroid, you need to eat starch, carbs, sugar, coffee. These are all great to improve your energy, and enough of energy production increases thyroid on a very superficial level.
So how do you understand before even someone probably realizes it through blood work?
Metabolic dysfunction when your cellular capacity is not to its optimal levels. When you cannot do your functions properly, day-to-day activities, and you feel more lethargic when you're on LEEA, low energy availability state, is when you have a metabolic dysfunction. Diabetics usually have a metabolic dysfunction.
Do they feel cold?
Yes, of course. They feel cold. They're eating, but the cells don't recognize. They're not able to utilize it and convert into energy, right? So they feel more hungry often. They want to eat more and more sugar. They crave it. But sugar is not the problem there. It's something else. It's like a
Yes.
deeper issue,
Yes.
more than that. And that also applies for your thyroid as well. Somebody who's metabolically dysfunctioning, which means that they have very bad thyroid health, and thyroid is again linked to your hormones.
Yes.
I just simply ask people to check their metabolism. Do they feel calm? Are they more anxious? And do they feel super cold when they wake up? Or how is their like body like after they eat? So I ask them to simply take a thermometer and check their temperature morning when they wake up and right after eating food. And for women, it's also if you're ovulating or not. That's also important.
It should go up. It should feel warmer.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when you ovulate, you have this white mucus that's released out of your cervix. And that's when you know that you're ovulating. And there are like different signs of knowing that your body is running through an LEA phase.
And why do you feel women have sugar cravings immediately after ovulation? Like, why is it that in my luteal phase, I don't even like mind indulging in sugar when I'm like, I feel like I'm burning enough also. Like, do you think it's a crime?
No.
Asking for the people who
I
are
feel
listening
like
to us.
cravings are a blessing. Why are you craving? Which means your body is asking for something. You don't live for yourself. You live for your cells. You live for so many things. So like, yeah, human life's not easy that way. Being human's not easy. You have too many responsibilities. Take care of yourself. your environment, others. So yeah, coming back to this, um, women usually do crave sugar when they are not providing themselves with enough of nutrients. Yeah, so that craving is telling them, hey lady, give us some sugar. The cells are saying, give us some sugar, we need it.
Yes.
That's what craving is. It's same as thirst.
Yes.
If you're
If your
thirsty,
macro and
you drink.
micronutrients are not in
I
check.
hate people who say, drink a lot of water, drink this much water. Who are you to tell how much water should I drink? It's my body who's going to tell me anyways.
Yes.
You know, like you feel thirsty and you want to drink water. If you keep drinking water over and over again, you're going to have edema, and that's also a reason
Correct.
for like hypothyroid.
Yes.
So yeah, you definitely need enough energy right after your ovulation, because during ovulation, your body produces corpus luteum. Corpus luteum signals progesterone to increase in the body that, hey, there is an anticipation of the baby coming in now. Okay, now the woman's gonna get pregnant. Now the woman's gonna get pregnant. The corpus luteum keeps waiting. So it's like the cells are excited, you know, like this ovaries and like everything, all these sex organs are super excited. Okay, the baby's gonna come. And so for a baby to come in, you need more energy.
Yes.
You know, your body in that anticipation burns more energy than it requires. And that's why you need more starch, more of carbohydrates during that time, eating enough frequently. When I say frequently, every 3 hours to maintain your blood sugar levels.
Yes.
Only if you maintain your blood sugar levels is when you're going to have enough of thyroid and enough of progesterone to feel safe within your own system. And that's why carbohydrates are extremely important. And then
now I can't imagine what girls do to themselves by completely removing carbohydrates from their
oh
diet.
my god, I know people who
their
are like on
hormones.
keto, you don't want to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, terrible. For me, it's really heartbreaking to see women go through all this, and then they have a hell lot of issues which are really like impossible to reverse sometimes. Yeah, when you have these rigid belief systems.
Advice about macro and micronutrients that they can take care of every day. The biomarkers that are directly proportional to, say, a change in their nutrition patterns. This is for people who are not very conscious or aware about what's happening inside their bodies before even the disease or illness comes out.
I think we all need micronutrients, macronutrients combination for our brains, for our organs. We all, the way we interact with our environment, our organs interact with environment only through food. So you need to understand how essential it is for every single functioning of your body, especially since we are talking from the point of bioenergetics. It's really important to nourish yourself for men and for women both. So I feel starting from the macros, having enough amounts of the quality protein is extremely essential. As per RDA, I think it's 1 gram per body weight.
Yes.
So if you can still go to like 0.8 grams per body weight of good quality protein, which is coming from like good quality dairy and meat, fish, of course. So sticking to high quality protein, vegetarian proteins have to be really well prepared in advance, like soak them, wash them, clean, and then cook them properly for the amino acids to be like better absorbed. And carbohydrates and fats have to really be proportionate. So keep the protein content constant.
Yes.
You need that amount of protein in your body to generate and to maintain your structure. Otherwise, you're going to lose your structure.
Yes.
Yes. So that's extremely essential.
So putting it simply, like in a plate or in a bowl, if half of it is filled with protein, a quarter is with quality carbohydrates, maybe even complex if you are able to digest it, and a quarter of it with fiber, essentially.
Right.
And obviously good fats.
And choosing like protein like a whole food, not like, for example, I've seen people who are like, oh no, I'm going to stick to having chicken breast only. No, you also need glycine. Glycine comes from like whole chicken with like bone in and skin on. Don't be afraid of that.
That also brings me to your skin and hair. It's really good. Like you look very healthy in your skin and your hair.
I think that's again to do with micronutrients. Pairing of the food is really important. I feel like eating the food which is coming from a very traditional standpoint, eating more palatable foods. Like, I mean, I see a lot of people eating like boiled vegetables. I would ask them, eat something more palatable. You eat something more palatable, it satiates you, it satisfies your body and your cravings as well. To an extent that you feel nourished and you know when to put the spoon down, when you don't starve yourself of these nutrients. And I mean, palatable foods are there for a specific reason, right? Like whatever we eat. Like, let me take the example of biryani. I mean, I wouldn't say like go eat some random biryani because all the biryanis in Hyderabad off late have a lot of MSG, as far as I know.
Yes,
So
yes.
be aware. But if you're cooking it like at home with like,
All
you
the
know, organic
spices.
ghee and like
Yes.
using the right kind of spice and like whole meat, I think it's going to be a great choice. And you would know when to put the spoon down, when you're not starving and when you're regulating yourself and eating. And now, how do you know if something is working out for you or not?
Yes.
You know,
that's important.
first thing, you eat something, you should feel energized. Ask yourself, am I feeling energized after I eat this? One thing. Second, is your nervous system regulated? Or do you like constantly feel like I need to eat something more? You know, a lot of people do have this thing like, I think I need to eat something more. I'm not satisfied. Or like all day you're just constantly looking for food. Like you're just obsessed with the fact that there's like food on your mind. And third, if your stomach's feeling great, you will feel the energy to just think above your mind. Yes. So that's one thing that you need to really look for. Perception is very important when it comes to food or just anything in your life. Yeah. So if I have to perceive and then think and act, I need to make sure that the food that I'm eating is also extremely important and is favorable to what my body, my genes, where I'm coming from, what I've been eating growing up. These things are extremely important. So the more you really know and educate yourself with these kind of things, I think you're just good to go. Eat sugar, eat organic ghee, eat dairy. Dairy is not bad. If you feel like you have an issue with dairy, that means that it's not the dairy, it's your body that needs to be fixed. Something deeper that you need to look into.
That your
So
gut is not digesting those enzymes.
yeah. Yeah. So these are all like nature foods. I feel like milk is one of the most nutritional drinks in the world. And yeah.
But
If
it
your
also
body-
reminds me the good fats. I want to talk about the good fats because you were talking about organic ghee, dairy. Ray Peat also spoke a lot about coconut oil, and he did a lot of research, which is backed by science and proven, according to him. And I think he popularized coconut oil also. So, what is your take on people using coconut oil, and why do you think people should use organic coconut oil in cooking?
So I've been using coconut oil since past 5 years. Also, one of the reasons that my hair is like grown long. And my
Okay, now we know.
yes, coconut oil is one thing. I've also introduced it to my family. They're also grateful that they've included coconut oil in their diet. Unsaturated fats are just not good for you. And saturated fats like ghee, butter, coconut oil are small and medium chain fatty acids. They do not produce the enough amounts of free fatty acids that the PUFAs actually induce. Coconut oil, I would like to just like bring a study which Repeat has done 500 people into two groups, those people. And one group ate seed oils, 1 tablespoon of seed oil. And we've seen the response. Another group ate 3 tablespoons of coconut oil as compared to the 1 tablespoon of seed oils. And what we've seen that their metabolic rate was higher. People use coconut oil and their waists were slim as compared to people who ate less amounts of seed oils and coconut oil. So that's like the distinction. That's why I would want to say like, please, please, please just eliminate seed oil.
So I know for a fact that we cannot cover all these topics, and there's so much more. We can just keep talking, it will not end.
I swear.
But I mean, just something small for the viewers. How can someone support the thyroid levels by eating what? Are there any specific foods?
I would really recommend drinking orange juice with sea salt. That's one thing that really helps in boosting your thyroid level because orange juice does have, I wouldn't say it's like going to spike your sugar levels. No. But orange juice has a lot of good enzymes which will really help you in regulating your thyroid health. And of course, with salt, it really acts like an adrenal cocktail. And also add 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. So this is like my standard recipe that I give to people who are like really hypothyroid, and it really helps. And it's also like natural. So having the right kind of electrolyte balance. and easily digestible foods. Having starch every 3 hours if you're a woman who is hypothyroid really helps in boosting your thyroid health. And also having coffee along with meals. Don't have it empty stomach, but having it along with your meals is really going to help and regulate your system in detoxing the excess estrogen. Also, hypothyroid is a sign of excess estrogen, and that's one of the reasons why women these days period issues, and they also menstruate early on in their life as compared to like 13 or 14, which is like the ideal age now.
Yes, that's what's happening.
Yeah, now it's happening
By
because
10
of,
or 11, they're menstruating.
yeah, that's because of high estrogen. Estrogen is not what we think it is. It's cancerous. It is definitely
And I
cancerous.
also feel it's because of the environment, the toxins and the chemicals that we're exposed to.
Oh,
Perfumes,
100%.
Perfumes, air fresheners that we're exposed to very early on
Plastic.
as compared to, the previous
Plastic,
generations.
cosmetics.
Yes.
Yeah, the cosmetic industry, plastics, and all of these things, eating processed food, of course. And all of these things can have an impact on estrogen. And estrogen, little bit, is necessary for growth and proliferation, but the best estrogen antagonist is progesterone. The mother. We need the mother in our lives.
We need the mother.
Yeah.
We need the mother first. Is
What
that all?
else?
Is that what you want to say? Is there anything else?
Oh, I can go for like on and on and on.
All right,
Yeah.
but thank you so much. Thank you so much for your valuable time and advice and enlightenment. All of us here, I'm sure my whole team will understand and resonate with the same, that we are all enlightened. We're feeling extremely enlightened today. I'm sure all of us are going to go back and make better changes to our
Yeah,
lifestyle.
I feel like all our third eyes are going to be like open now. And
We'll
if you
come
have
back.
any questions about anything in your own minds, just take yourself back to our ancestors or like the evolution, and maybe you'll find some answers.
Yeah, the best
Simple
advice from the previous generations is that the grandmom knew exactly what kind of quality food to cook, and the grandfather knew exactly the quantity that he had to eat. I think that's where
Yeah.
we were.
They were good at each other's jobs.
Yeah.
Like I come and I give you the veggies, whatever, and you cook it.
Yes.
You know?
You cook it right.
Exactly.
And I eat enough.
Right.
All of my heart, I'm so grateful that you made it. I know the number of conversations that we had about all of this, and it's great how you can connect emotions to feelings, to your stress levels, to chronic illnesses, to everything else that's happening to your hormone health, and especially with women. It was really valuable, this whole information, and we're going to do more series with Dilisha. I hope you enjoyed this particular episode. If you did, do write into us. Give us some feedback. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to write to Dilisha.
Thank you.